Hi, welcome to Dice Control Dojo. I'm Phil and I practice every day and share my tips so we can all get better at the casino. Today, we're only talking about landing, analyzing how the dice land. So this is where I focus on my throw because I am looking at my target zone, where I'm going to land that, and that's where my eyes usually are when I land. So as opposed to in the air, I can kind of see what's going on. Sometimes I do, but if I do, especially when I'm at a casino, I get really irritated at myself because I should just be focusing 100% my eyes, my shooting eye, looking at that target so I can hit that target. But when I'm talking about landing, I want to talk about where it lands. We're going to analyze in each video, break it down, the different wrong landings that happen. We talk about the perfect throw, a 35, 45 degree angle, the dice back spinning just a little bit, landing, popping, and stopping, right? We're going to talk about the landing today. The landing is going to be where we're talking constantly about what the dice are doing when they land, okay? So as the dice come down, right, and they're dropping down, you can determine what happened with your arm in your toss based on how they're landing. And hopefully, when you recognize what's going on with it and you analyze how they're landing, you might be able to fix what's going on, either while you're right there at the casino or when you're practicing or when you're, most importantly, videotaping yourself and looking back at it. Ideally, the thousands of throws that you do, you should be able to know right away what's going on. There's many stories that we talk about it with the craps crew that, and I'm sure you've done it too. You ever sit there and you have the perfect throw? You're sitting here and you're setting off those dice. And the second you throw it, you know it's bad, right? You go, oh, no. And then sure enough, it's amazing how many times the dealers go, you knew that was a 7. It's like, yeah, it's just I knew I had either one finger off or I threw it, I lifted my thumb. Just for the thousands of throws, we can tell when it's a bad throw in our own possession. Just on the release, we are not happy with it. So hopefully with you, if you're new, or even if you're not, if you're a person that's been casually throwing or casually dice setting, maybe now you can recognize a little bit, maybe tweak it just a little bit. Remember, we need just to fix it a little bit to be throwing for a long time. So let's analyze the different types of landing that you might see. I'm going to use the big dice. So if they come down, my perfect throw, I love it. I know it's weird, but I love it when they hit flat together. Like you hear that pop. That means that the dice didn't hit on the angle like this. They hit flat. And for whatever reason, they sometimes, when they hit flat, they kind of sit a little nicer than when they hit on the dice, on the corners. So remember, this is where a lot of people have say it's so hard to dice control throw, because what's happening is your dice are doing a little bit of backspin, right? A little bit of backspin. And when they land, we're hoping they land perfectly together, either on an edge like this or flat like this. If they land with one corner up like this, then they're going to just do random stuff, right? Same with if they land on this corner, they're going to do something random. So our goal, of course, is to try and keep them together when they land. So what are the different options of landing that we can have that we can recognize what's going on with them? Well, one, if they land at an angle like this with just the point going, so your target is right here. Say this is your target right here. Did they land on the target? That's the one thing. And then if they didn't, did they land over here? And what caused that? So are they landing with a point landing? Are they landing with 2 points landing down or 2 corners and they miss the target? Or on this side, same thing. That's caused by, remember, whatever happens here is a huge reaction to the minor issue that's happening right here with your fingers, your ledge, your pressure, right? Your swing, a little backswing, your follow through. Are you releasing, right? So all of these things hit factor. So the landing can come in at an angle and just the 1 point lands before this one, which is going to set them both off. They can come in on this side, land. If they miss the target over the target, that's a dead cat maybe, and that's going to react differently, right? Or did you come in short, high and short, right? That may react differently because they're not hitting the back wall. So you're going to have a different type of reaction. These are all things that are recognizable and things that are fixable based on your landing zone, okay? What happens if one lands before the other, or one hits the back wall, lands and hits the back wall before the other? That offsets everything. Well, there's a reason for that. There's a reason in your toss in your fingers that cause that interaction. And we're going to go over each one of these in future videos. So if you see a video and it's like my dice landed, one landed first before the other, there's a video for that. You can analyze what's going on, go right to that video and see, okay, this is what happened. This is what happened with my fingers. This is what happened with my arm. And this is what I need to do to correct that. So the different landings that happen are 1 point down left, 1 point down right. Both landing right, but maybe not together, right? Maybe one's ahead or the other's ahead, or one's higher and one lands first and the other's higher and one lands first. These are all the different issues that, just like in the air, we had resolutions for each one of them. Analyzing what's going on in the air is almost similar to how they land. You can still tell what's causing it and how to fix it. The most important thing, how to fix it. This is what we're here for. Practice recognizing, analyzing, and fixing. So with this video coming up on landings, we're just talking about, did you hit your target? That's the one thing. How did they land? Were they together? One first, the other first? Did they split? Did they land and one go ahead and one come back? Did they just plop? Okay. Did they come in so sharp that they spun away? So those are the different ways that you got to watch that target. And, you know, it's so hard. You're 8 feet away. If you're at a casino and you're throwing, and once again, you don't have two different colored dice, you have the same dice. So you can recognize what's going on in the air. And as you can see, that was a really good throw. But this dice did hit the wall before this dice did. But they kind of stayed together. So in that essence, I could see that that was a good enough throw. Did I get in the realm of where I wanted to throw? I'm in on a casino. I'm not going to make major corrections off of that throw. I would only be fixing corrections that are like consistent, the same thing all the time. Or on the casino, I'm going to make little tweaks. I'm not going to go big tweaks. I'm going to stay. Now see, those landed perfectly, but then the dice reacted differently after they landed. So join me tomorrow where we're going to talk about what, after it lands, what happens to the dice? What are the interactions, the different interactions, And can we fix those? Can we recognize what those are and be able to fix them? So join me tomorrow when we're going to talk about how the dice move after they land. There's specific different ways of doing it. And then we're going to once again break down each one of those problems in future videos so you can go right to it. So as always, my best betting strategy is to practice for a long time, being able to analyze my dice and make corrections, and then that'll hopefully let me throw for a long, long time.